Welcome live to the Racing Hotspot Weekend Roundup. It is June 8th, National Best Friend Day.
It's National Everything Day.
Yeah, I know.
No, best friends finish the cleanup. Nephews don't.
Anyways.
We'll let him go on that.
Anyways, I'm your host, Devin Poslusny, alongside Dave Poslusny. Let's take a look at the show lineup here. Motorsports is 60, which we're going to try to cram a little bit more than we usually do into the 60 seconds. Probably not going to do it. Formula E, which I got a little better on the names. I watched some of the race broadcasts, and they were going through the grid, and I'm like...
Yeah, actually I did too. I caught a couple of them, and you were right on the D...
Ambrose, or the Ambrose?
Yeah, it just calls them D'Ambrose. It's
yeah.
like one, like the D is just part of it.
Yeah. I was watching the race broadcast, and they're going through the grid, and I'm like, okay, they say a name, pause, rewind, pause.
It's doing the same thing.
Say it in your head.
Oh, that's funny.
Say it in your head, rewind, listen again, okay, okay.
I was actually doing the exact same thing.
Well, because I have the DVR, so I have the advantage of being able to do it.
And I'm looking...
Mine's just it's a back arrow, so you just keep hitting the back arrow. Back arrow. Back arrow. I'm like, I got it, okay.
Well,
that's funny.
Kind of learned
We
somehow.
were doing it two different ways, but we were both doing it. It's pretty funny.
So after Formula E, we'll go to IndyCar, then Formula 1, X Games Austin. We'll talk about Rallycross and the Off-Road Truck Series. The only reason we're going to talk about the Off-Road Truck Series is Rusty Wallace was in it. We're going to take a break, then we're going to go to NASCAR, the Points Championship, and then the final lap. So here we go, Motorsports in 60.
How many pages? Just this one?
Just with one, yeah.
Okay.
60 seconds, here we go. Motorsports in 60, the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series raced at Texas Motor Speedway on Friday night. Here is your top 5. Austin, oh shoot. Thorold finished 5th. Johnny Sauter finished 4th. John West Townley finished 3rd. Daniel Suarez finished 2nd. And Matt Crafton won the race. Now, we're going to switch gears here. First, we're going to talk about U.S. Legends cars. Thing that happened on Saturday night at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. This picture kind of tells it all.
Yeah, it does.
But we have some really fun onboard footage from Noah Corner. You see right here, Tom Gray gets a little... No, wait, shoot. Dang it.
So one of the drivers sent us this footage?
They uploaded it to YouTube and they gave me permission to take it down.
And of course, did you thank them?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So you see 3 wide going into turn 4. Tom Gray gets a little loose. Oh, of course.
I didn't know you were still on a timer thing. I thought you gave that up.
I was trying to do it all in 60 seconds.
Not a chance.
Well, that's why I asked, is this the only page? Because I was thinking when I'm looking at this, that's not really enough for 60 seconds.
No.
You should do, if you're going to do it 60 seconds, I would think you should try to do every race and every top 5. And when I say every race, I mean all of them. Formula E, Formula 1.
Oh, dear God.
Hey,
the whole show is 5 minutes long.
There's a new local news, and they do that. I think it's their 6 o'clock news. They do it, and there's a woman that does news in 60, and I'm amazed because they have this little clock on and all that, and what she squeezes into it is unbelievable, and she uses up every last second. Like she literally just finishes the last trap from her mouth just as it hits, and she gets a lot in. I think you should try.
Well,
that would be motorsports in 60.
It would be.
At least you wouldn't have had Xfinity this week. You would have got a break.
Yeah. So, back to this real quick. You see them going 3 wide into turn 4. Tom Gray gets a little loose. Goes up in front of Devin O'Connell. Gets clipped. And up and over. We also have another alternative view. Hold on. Thank you, Devin O'Connell, for sharing his footage from his onboard with us. We'll skip ahead.
Oh, where'd you get this?
He's also uploaded it to YouTube and gave us permission to use. So, see, this is... dang it.
Same guy?
What do you mean?
The same guy? Or was it Noah I just saw?
Noah, you just saw. This is Devin.
Okay. So
Noah's behind us. This is on board with Devin. See, Gray gets going. He gets a little loose right there. Devin doesn't really help it, and so basically, from what I'm seeing, my little race analysis here. Gray gets loose, T-bones him, and O'Connell gets hits the wall, bounces off the wall, and then comes up onto the hood of Noah Corner and goes up and over. They were okay, and Noah Corner got ahead of...
The reason I was asking about the names is because you want to give them credit.
Yeah. So thank you, Noah, and thank you, Devin. But basically, the one U.S. Legends car race I miss is the most exciting ever.
Yeah, for them though, that's not that exciting because they don't have those huge budgets, and when you bang up a car, it costs money.
But that was the battle for third place, second and third. Actually, that was the battle for second. Taylor Martin got second, and Noah Corner, who was trailing them, got third.
So you made it through, right?
Well, no, he was involved in the wreck, but
still made it through.
He clipped, and his momentum kept him going and got him backwards across the line first.
Cool.
This was another thing we wanted to show. The NASCAR Enduro Series over in England. It was an interesting wreck. We'll analyze it really quick. See them running the road course over here. Watch this group of cars right here. That car in particular. He gets spun. Hits the wall. The body comes flying off. And then somewhere here in the video, see them looking at the tire barrier. And there he is, right there. He gets out of the car and he's fine.
I wouldn't call it fine.
I wouldn't call it fine. He was laying on the ground.
Well, I call that he's not injured.
To
the point of
they don't count out injured.
Injured to the point of not being able to get out of his own car under his own power.
But you really couldn't see in that video that there was also another car that hit him.
Mm-hmm.
So once he hit the wall and spun, you didn't really see the end result of the other car hitting him. Did the other car hit him, clip him, and send him spinning the other way? Because that would be why he went down the minute he got out of the car, because he'd be totally rattled. Because you blasted one way and then blasted another. I mean, that's rough.
But that was a home video, so I appreciate the person who Fox Sports took the video from. Now to Formula E, we have two little things. We have the top 5 and we have the driver standings, because their season ends not next weekend, the weekend after.
Yeah, so
they do an odd series. They have it start in this season started in 2014, went into 2015. Then their next season will start in a couple weeks, I think in October. Well, not a couple of weeks, but they'll go in from 2015 to 2016. But here's the top 5. Finishing 5th was Daniel.
You know what? I didn't catch that one. You know what? I don't know.
When in doubt, go to the race broadcast. We'll go on.
How would you pronounce that?
Which one are we talking about?
Number 5.
The bottom.
Abt.
What?
Abt.
Apt.
Abt. A-B-T. Abt.
Okay. We'll get the official word in a second, as soon as I get the race broadcast loaded up here. Figured out how to say this one. John Eric Verne.
Yeah, no, it's not that difficult.
Finished 4th. Nick Highfield. Yeah.
It looks like Feld. I think.
Feld. Finished 3rd. Lucas DeGrassi finished 2nd, and Nelson Piquet Jr. won the race. Going into the final race now in a couple weeks, here's the driver standings. Jerome D'Ambrosio.
Jerome.
D'Ambrosio.
The way you were saying it was D'Ambrosio. That's the one I had to keep rewinding. Okay.
D'Ambrosio is currently 5th in the standings. Nicholas Prost? Yeah.
That's Prost.
He's 4th. Sebastian Buemi, got that one, is in 3rd. Lucas DeGrassi is in 2nd, and Nelson Piquet is leading the standings.
I mean, even his name I hear pronounced different ways, but I do believe PK is the proper way of saying it.
No.
Well, it depends upon from what country they're
True.
the announcer is from.
Well, here you go. Here's the names. Nelson Piquet. Who are we looking for? Oh yeah, Daniel. Hold on, folks.
Since we started doing this, I now have magazines next to my chair that I can refer that has all the drivers and their cars and who they drive for, teams, the Chevy, Honda, whatever.
Mm-hmm. D'Ambrosio.
I think that's where I was rewinding it to keep hearing it over again. Back up. I didn't hear it at all.
I didn't hear it at all, no.
Daniel
Apt.
Apt. Okay.
Apt.
Apt.
Yeah. Very good, Godfather.
Daniel Apt. Okay. We'll learn those names eventually.
Now, I'm gonna start mixing my notes into what we're talking about, so the specifics, just to get them done and out of the way.
Okay.
But for the most part, I thought that was a great course. That was a really, from the aerial view and whatnot, that was a really cool looking course. I would love to drive something road course, not necessarily these electric cars. I'm still a little sketchy on them, but I think that this week was definitely more exciting than last week. It was there seemed to be more speed. I'm not sure if it was the coverage or the track that made for more speed, but last week just seemed kind of slow. It was, or maybe I'm just so used to the noise. That I need that high 13,000 RPM in order to, that kind of thing. Don't know. But again, I said, even at that, in my notes I said it still doesn't seem that fast. And then congratulations to Nelson Piquet.
Yeah. So
Also, I think you're about to discuss that.
yeah. Well, I was gonna say, congrats to Nelson. He won the race. He's leading the standings. They're going into London, which is a doubleheader.
Mm-hmm.
So that should be fun.
No, he went into this race leading, didn't he?
I believe so. Yeah. This is the updated standings after Moscow. But
It's pretty funny though, because it's the first two finishes in the race right off.
mm-hmm. Well, we'll see what happens in a couple weeks. The IndyCar now. The Firestone 600 was raced at Texas Motor Speedway, one of the only super speedways on the IndyCar schedule. And everything seems to still be going good with their running at super speedways besides Indianapolis.
Yeah, you should have no problem with any of those names.
No. Finishing fifth was Marco Andretti. Juan Pablo Montoya finished fourth. Helio Thanks for jinxing me. Helio Castroneves finished third. Tony Kanaan finished second. And Scott Dixon won the race. I was working on these notes today during Power Hour at school. For those of you who don't know, Power Hour is basically like an hour long of students can do anything they want, like in the school.
Yeah, we used to call it study hall.
Yeah, well, it's everyone. It's not just
The whole school at one
Mhm.
time?
yeah. You can have lunch. You can go talk to teachers. You can just go hang out.
Is there also a lunch?
Yeah.
So you have lunch and this?
Yeah.
No, you probably eat both times.
No, you can get. You know what? Never mind. Anyways, during Power Hour, I was sitting in the band room and I was writing up the notes. And when I went through this one, while I'm writing it, I'm saying it under my breath. So like this one, Scott Dixon, Tony Kanaan, Helio Castroneves, Juan Pablo Montoya, and my friend Adam. He's sitting here and he's like, "You know your drivers?" I'm like, "Yeah." So I go to Formula E and I'm like, Nelson Piquet, Lucas, Nick, John, Eric Verne, Daniel. He goes, "New series?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Yeah."
That could be John, could be Jan, could be Jean.
Yeah.
Could be Jane. There's a lot of ways that could be pronounced. So
Well,
that's one of those you need to hear it from somebody.
Well,
I prefer if you could actually catch them saying it themselves, but whoever says their own name. You know
Rarely
what I mean?
ever.
Is there
Yeah.
no-
Rarely ever.
Yeah. But yeah, it was just
I am Tony Stewart. You'll never hear him saying it.
no. But it was just funny. I'm going through it and I'm typing it and I'm like, "What?" And he reads it and goes, "That's how you say it." And it's in a new series too. I'm like, "Yeah, it is." We're still working on it. Now to the IndyCar real quick. Went through the top 5. Apparently it was a good race. Missed most of it. I don't know what.
Yeah, did you catch that the officials were watching our show? The beginning of the race, so you didn't catch the race itself.
No.
DVR. I'm going to wind up having to buy it.
I was gonna say, talk to them up there.
It's not that expensive.
Oh!
Anywho, they actually waived the restart, and I had to go back, and I wasn't watching it when he called me, but he's like, "Did you see that?" I'm like, "Did I see what?" He goes, "They must have been watching your show or something, because they just waved off the restart, just like you were talking about with Indy." And I'm like, "Really?" I doubt they were watching the show, but it would be pretty cool if they were. And then I asked him, I was like, "Well, do we have rights on that?" But yeah, they actually waived the restart, because it's a very similar situation as to what I was saying about Indy.
I was gonna say, I'm just trying to find the start, but keep going. Just to.
It was a cool start. It was.
Good clean race, very fast. Very fast. But they're
Very
always fast at Texas, and that actually made my next note. Wasn't it just a few years ago that they actually failed to race at Texas because they were too fast? Where they were having drivers that were coming near passing out? I mean, when I say a few years ago, I'm talking, it might have been about 10.
Yeah,
But I
you're right.
think
There was a period when they were having problems with them.
But they were too damn fast. And then NASCAR was worried about it too, but then
Right.
they went in and tested, they were okay. But what I question is, what did they ever do to correct it?
I
don't know.
think it was a change in their uniforms, because what was happening was the G-forces were getting to them.
Which would be understandable. I mean, I
Right.
could see G-forces and just what
Right,
they were doing.
at 200 miles an hour in those tight turns, that would be
So kind of like the the fighter pilots and whatnot. With
right.
Well,
yeah.
see, the issue is I watched a sports science video. That was what I was doing in science class one day.
Gotcha.
And it's basically
You also use my DVR while you're in class. Maybe that's how you should do it. Start using my DVR. You know how to do it. And watch it. You can fast forward and stuff like that.
I know, but my internet connection is slow. It's horrible, and you know what? Never mind. So, but what happened is the G forces get to the neck, which ultimately cuts the blood flow to the brain, which is partially why they pass out. But
So
what they
they have
did,
some kind of supportive thing.
it's the Hans device. The Hans device, they built it around in the helmet around
But they-
here. To
But they
basically-
have made a change to
Yeah,
it.
that's what when I guess when they
There's something
implemented-
about, what do you call it, like either a strap or something was added,
Okay.
so that
Well,
they're not
that makes
actually holding their head, their head is being held for them.
the Hans device does that, and you know from NASCAR you can't move. So basically that's what it does. And in IndyCar they added extra padding back here. This
Yeah.
way you did not.
Move it at all.
Your neck did not move at all.
It's probably like one of those pad type things, like when he sleeps in the van, he has the thing he puts around. It's like kind of like a
Yeah.
head
The
and neck
travel
pillow.
hoop, travel pillow.
And last thing I wanted to say on Indy was congratulations to Scott Dixon and the Energizer Chip Ganassi Chevy team,
We're just watching highlights.
which came from, like I said, the notes that the magazines that I'm now keeping next to me. Although he wasn't listed as the Energizer, I just happened to catch that from what I was watching. His chip sponsorship was different this week.
Yeah, he varies from
And that,
AAA.
you can't go by what they show you in the magazines. All the details are great, but you can't go by the general sponsor, because Target may still be his general sponsor, but for that race, he was energizing, and he even said it at the podium
Yeah,
or during the interview.
it's what happens with NASCAR.
Yeah, no, same
Yeah.
thing. I understand it.
Yeah, your
Everybody wants a piece of it.
primary sponsor.
And they
Look
want
at-
a piece of
Look
everybody.
at how
so-
much they're turning the steering wheel. It's barely moving.
Trying to find a. Okay, there's a part coming up.
Here it is, right here. Watch that.
It's incremental. It's crazy. NASCAR does the same thing, though. I'd say that pretty much goes with any racing. You just don't get that view, that kind of
It's
That
the,
kind of
view.
a-
It's the banking. That's exactly what it is. The higher banking, you barely have
Well,
to,
you're also
you have to turn less.
I think the reason. No, that's not what he's saying. If you watch watch that wheel. You say it's not staying. He's not just doing this
Yeah, he's.
like you do in the
Yeah,
car.
it's constantly
What that
back
is-
and forth, back and forth. He's
I
playing.
think I fully understand that. Dad. The reason he's doing that is because they are going so damn fast, and this goes for NASCAR, and this goes for your, I want to say Le Mans, but what is it called now? Tudor Series,
to,
and pretty much all racing. What he's doing is he's keeping that car right on the edge, and by the little increments in the wheel,
yeah.
is keeping it from going around.
Not to mention.
He's getting that turn. He's digging, or actually, that's a perfect expression. He's digging.
Not
He's
to
bringing
mention,
it in, but he's coming back a little bit because he does not. He's feeling that rear end, and it's right there. So he doesn't want to take it too far, so he increments into the turn.
Not to mention, Texas isn't brand new. It's bumpy.
Yeah, it's bumpy.
So you're going along and you go beep beep, and you're feeling the car kind of bouncing around, and he's, as you said, he's making sure the thing doesn't just lose it.
What was I watching? Oh, it was the cup race I was watching last night.
Pocono?
They had a suspension on suspension.
The Pocono?
Oh
Yeah.
no!
The suspension cam.
Over that tunnel is unreal.
Yeah, the suspension cam just shows. It's like, oh my God, it makes you think. Like, does my vehicle travel that much? Like, when because up here in New England we get these frost heaves and potholes and stuff. What does it? I would love to put a GoPro underneath to watch what my suspension does.
He's got one, borrow it.
My question is,
And he says it's tough as nails, so why not?
well, my question is, they said there's bumps in Pocono in the tunnel turn, and it's because of the winters down there,
Right.
just like up here. Are they potholes or are they raised up bumps?
They're raised.
Oh, they raised. I would say this time of year they should be low.
That's one of the tracks that I've actually been to, and I've walked around that track. Not the whole track, but parts
But
of it.
how does it stay up? Like, with roads up here, you have the frost heaves, and then the spring they turn into potholes.
Not all the time.
Not really.
settle.
Yeah.
They settle back a little
But,
bit.
no, I see what you're saying, and I kind of question that myself. But I do believe they are up bumps because if I'm thinking about what I was watching, the suspension cam, there was more.
It was amazing.
You're getting more of the suspension getting kicked up.
Wasn't there a suspension cam at Dover?
Possibly.
I'm trying to.
Which is also getting a little old.
Well, gee, it was breaking apart last year. Anyways. So, yeah. So now moving on to Formula One here, which our Formula One analyst might have been up there.
And I didn't get to see it.
Which, actually, I don't have contact with him right now because my phone is on vacation. So... So I don't have contact with him other than email, and he might be up there. If he is, great. If not, oops. So we might actually be getting video of this weekend like he did last year, if you remember.
Yeah, it was always next week.
Yeah, not to mention him and I could actually do a separate segment too. So here's the top 5 from the Canada Grand Prix, which someone made fun of me for. They're like, Canada Grand Prix. I'm like, that's what it's called. They're like, you just name it after a country? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, haven't you heard of Formula One? They race from country to country. They're like,
true. Well, I would have assumed it would have been called the Canadian Grand Prix, but I do believe you are 100% right because that's the way I saw it in the.
Well, it could be Canadian or Canada, like American Grand Prix or the United States Grand Prix.
It was always the United States Grand Prix.
Well, I know recently some announcers are like the American Grand Prix. I don't know why they do that, but
USA
That's
Grand
an
Prix.
entirely different race.
what race is that? I'm actually curious.
That's sports cars.
Oh,
The American Grand Prix.
I didn't even know that.
It's part of the Tudor
Super
series.
series, yeah.
The United States Grand Prix is Formula One.
The person who covers Tudor doesn't even know the race. Wow.
Oh, it was funny yesterday when we were listening to the race, and then I came up and I'm like, the race is over, what are they playing now? You're like, I don't know, a replay of some kind. I heard like 2 minutes of it, I go, oh, Daytona, 24 hours. And then the announcer says it right afterwards. I was like, wow, amazing, because I remember the end.
Mm-hmm. They actually, before that, they were playing the 2013 Daytona 500 ending. No,
Oh, they're MRN,
yeah, I know.
Motor Racing Network.
But
What
anyways,
else are they going to do?
have blank air? I don't know. No.
I was going to say an episode of The Cosby Show.
But it was just funny. The friend was like, why do they call it that? I'm like, have you ever heard of Formula One? Look at their schedule. Germany, Spain, United States, Canada,
Yeah.
Japan, Brazil. They're all over the world.
Japan, all over.
So, people in my school. Anyway,
So,
here's the top 5. Sebastian Vettel finished 5th. Kimi Raikkonen finished 4th. There's a Heikkinen and a Raikkonen. I should have looked at the R. Terry Bottas finished 3rd. Nico Rosberg finished 2nd, and Lewis Hamilton, right back where he normally is, won the race. Any notes on this, Mr. No?
no, sir, I did not catch it. It was the one race that I did not record.
And I was going to watch it last night. At 8 o'clock, they replayed it on NBCSN. And I'm like, I'm going to watch it. I fell asleep.
I couldn't have because I was actually watching the Pocono.
And I fell asleep. Literally. I was like, I'm gonna. I woke up this morning going.
Must be nice to sleep. Your day will come.
So now to X Games Austin. Now normally we don't cover this, but because Rallycross was there and off-road trucks were there, why not? So any notes on this before I?
No, I didn't catch any of this.
All right. Well.
These are things maybe you should pass along the information. Oh, but that's right. Your phone's on vacation.
Yep. So Rallycross, they raced Saturday in Austin. Here's the top 5. Tanner Faust finished 5th. Brian Deegan finished 4th. Sebastian Eriksson finished 3rd. Steve Arpin finished 2nd. And Scott Speed won the race. We'll talk about Rallycross in a second. I didn't catch any of the off-road trucks race, but I was able to get the top 5. For those of you who don't know, you guys know the remote control like Traxxas cars, like the truck, the remote. That's exactly what these are. Just not remote control. They're the full-size version.
So in other words, the remote control versions, the Traxxas remote control versions,
Yeah.
are those.
Yes.
So it's the opposite way around. Those are the real ones.
Yes.
The real, gotcha.
Yes.
The 1 scale.
Yeah. Yes. So here's the top 5 from this. No, one of the names. Robbie Gordon. He finished 2nd. That's it. Have a nice day. No. Jarrett Brooks. Jarrett Brooks, right?
Yep.
Jared Brooks.
Okay. Finished 5th. CJ. I got this. Shoot. Grievous.
So is that all they teach you in school is math?
No.
Greaves.
Greaves. Okay. Finished 4th.
And of course, I will say, bear in mind, that the way I say that, is based on what I was taught in English.
Sound it out.
So you may not, not necessarily. It's actually the way E and A are put together in the English language. Now, he's not, and he's Australian. I may not be saying it correctly.
Yeah.
But that's the way I was taught. CJ Greaves.
All right.
I'm with you on that one.
Harry Lyndike.
Huh?
What?
Harry Lyndike.
Lion
What
Dyke?
you said? No.
Are you saying Lion Dyke, like leaving out the E, or are you
Yeah.
saying Lion Dyke?
I'm not even
Lion
adding the last name yet. Ari?
Yeah, Ari's, that's pretty easy. That's him without the T.
Okay. Ari Lyndike. Lyndike? Okay. He finished 3rd. Robbie Gordon finished 2nd. And Sheldon Greed.
Creed.
Creed.
It's a C, right? If you typed it right.
Should be.
Okay.
Won the race.
And they were all using remote controls?
No. They were in the cars.
That was a cool video I sent you, though, wasn't it?
Wait. I don't think I got it.
Yeah, you did because you liked it.
Did I? Oh.
It was on Facebook. Video of the RCs and that really cool track. It actually looked like one of the tracks for the dirt bikes, the motocross. Except there was remote control trucks.
Oh, yes.
And that one guy that was leading. Oh, man.
Oh.
I used to run those things.
You can
Ain't
go-
no way I'd be able to do
we
that.
can
That
go
guy was
down-
amazing.
We can go down to Route 106 Race Park in Pembroke and watch those.
Yep.
I'd rather play with him.
You could do those.
Oh, that's on the left-hand side, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can also play with them at the track during race
Yeah, see, the
weekends.
problem with that to me now is they don't do it like they used to do, where you bought the kit and you had to build it from scratch, and that's the only way I'd do it.
Well-
There's no satisfaction in just running it around if you didn't build it yourself.
Well, a couple of years ago, I paid like $20 and I was able to play with one of them for like 30 minutes. And it was down by the south entrance where
Was
the
it gas power or electric? Oh, you know. The electric's like the e-cars.
I think so,
And the
yeah.
gas power's like little
Or
dirt bikes.
maybe it was gas powered then. Because it sounded pretty like realistic, like dirt bike. But anyways, it was that huge dirt area by the south entrance.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where do I run it? And the guy just goes, I'm like, all right. I'm just like,
In that huge dirt area?
this whole area? All right. But it was fun. I wanted to buy one. They were like $200, $300. And I'm like, I got 10?
That's for like a mellow one.
Yeah.
I sold, you know Brian Mendez. He had built one. Well, he and I built one, but it was mainly me showing him how to build it years ago, and he had it for like forever. About a year ago, I actually sold it. He got almost $1,000 for it. And I think the thing was pretty crazy. I mean, big for one thing, and absolutely crazy. I think that they called it a number 2 motor. The numbers for the gas powered motors. But yeah, I mean, little electric starter. You have to go whole level. Nasty little thing. But they go. Some of those can go for some pretty crazy money.
Well, it was just funny. The guy's like, $200. I'm like, I got a $10 bill.
$200 is relatively cheap.
Okay, never mind. Well, this was like Friday night during race weekend. You know what I mean? It was one of those types of things where the guy really probably, if he knew the crowd he was getting, it was the
Trying
first
to
year he was
move
there.
Quantity.
Yeah. Yes, first time he was there, if he really knew what he was trying to sell to the crowd he was trying to sell, maybe not that high.
Have you seen the jet engine
Oh boy.
plane RCs yet?
Have I seen any of them?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like the real jet engines?
Yeah, real.
Unbelievable.
Miniature jets.
Yeah, but I mean, they had. I was watching a thing that had. It was mainly about one, which just broke the airspeed record for them, and I'm not talking about scale speed. It's real speed.
Real speed.
It was like almost 500 miles an hour. Yeah. Absolutely insane.
It is insane.
I mean, I'm watching this guy fly this. He's got no camera. He's flying it.
Well, they
He's
have.
going 500 miles an hour. It's literally going past them. Like the guy with the camera can hardly even keep up with it. You can see he's hearing it, he's looking for it, and it's like, it's like, holy God, that thing could take somebody's head right off. It's like, wow.
Well, they have what do you call it? B-52,
Yeah,
which uses 8 of those little
I saw
jets.
Air Force One, what do they call it? I think it's a A300 Airbus thing.
Yeah.
Somebody made one of those.
Yeah.
Like that big monstrous thing that holds like
Right.
1,000 people or whatever. Somebody made one of those. That is unbelievable. I mean, the synchronization between the engines and all that, got to be some
Gotta be a lot of work.
serious technical, yeah.
I'm just looking.
Just getting them started was cracking me up. There was one where they were showing it where they had, it was the real deal, and that's what the A300 was, but they also had a 747, a DC-10, whatever, they had an Air Force One, whatever that is. And these guys were doing the startups and whatnot, and the wingspan was like 10 feet. And
huge.
They bring them out, and they actually had their own runway where they bring them out, they taxi it out, they bring it all the way down the end of the runway, turn it around, and you see the engines coming up, and then it starts going, and zoom, gone. It's like unbelievable. It looked, if you didn't know you were watching remote controls,
Right.
you would have swore you were just
You were
watching
watching
an
a plane take off.
Yeah, you would have just swore you were just watching an airport. Because they're super detailed, they sound right. It's just utterly amazing. I did not know that they made jet engines this big.
Yeah.
What was killing me though, the really fast one, the video for that, 14 minutes. From takeoff to land. Like how much fuel does that thing use? It's doing almost 500 miles an hour. It's got to be using up some fuel. It's a jet engine. I mean, when they first started it, and they were winding it up, you had one part where it was throwing flame, and then he switched something and it stopped throwing the flame, but then it was the whistle got louder and higher.
Right.
I'm not that familiar with jet engines, so I know when the jet dryers go by at the racetrack, it's like, hello! But beyond that, I don't know much about them.
Well, that's brought it to our first break. That's kind of why I just let them go there, because we're now going to go to a break. So on the other side of the break, we're going to talk about NASCAR, Points Championship, and the final lap. So we'll be right back. Welcome back live for the Racing Hotspot Weekend Roundup. Time for part 2. Not literally. We're still on the same show, unlike last week. To NASCAR now. Dang it, I meant to learn the name of this. Exalta?
Yeah.
Exalta? Okay. Exalta We Paint Winners 400 at Pocono Raceway. Here's the top 5. Finishing 5th, Kurt Busch. Joey Logano finished 4th. Jimmy Johnson finished 2nd. Kevin Harvick finished, Jimmy Johnson finished 3rd, Kevin Harvick finished 2nd, and Martin Truex Jr., where did he come from? Won the race.
He dominated almost the whole race.
I know.
There was no way he'd come from. If it wasn't going to be him, it was going to be Harvick.
Yeah, and in all honesty, we've been seeing him coming.
Yeah, without a doubt.
And I should have put him for first. Just saying.
Actually, we were talking about that yesterday.
Yeah.
That I was actually going to pick him for my picks. I was going to take a long shot because I knew it was going to happen. And actually, this would be more of a plug, right? I'm not violating anything.
No, it'd be more of a plug.
This was an excellent article.
NASCAR Illustrated.
And I had just finished reading it when I was watching the race. So this is the May edition of NASCAR Illustrated. This boy has had a rough couple of years. And to win like he did this week was very well deserved. That's actually in my notes.
Mm-hmm. So, before we go to the Punch Championship, over to your notes now. With the trucks and the Cup.
Actually, the trucks were in Texas with the Indy cars.
Right.
I know.
Why did you
But
say
we
with the
did
trucks and
talk
the Cup?
about the truck race that you watched and made notes on.
I'm not sure if this is working for me because it's it's getting long, so it's hard to find everything. To start with, I want to point out that Joe Cobb was fined, and what I had mentioned the week before, and she most definitely should have been, and she did not. She chose that she was not going to appeal or anything like that.
Makes sense.
And she's not a big money team either, so a fine's hard for her. But she was grown up enough to realize she made a big mistake. That was not smart at all. It was a pretty clean race. This is in Texas. I guess they were together with the Indy cars, so that must have made one heck of an interesting infield. Well,
Probably.
Imagine if the Cup Series was there with Indy. I think the logistics of that would just be too much.
Yeah.
It would probably be way too much. When they went to 14 to go, in my personal opinion, is when that race started really getting interesting. And then Suarez had it, lost it due to getting loose, pretty much gave it to Crafton, and then they went to caution. And I was like, oh boy, this is going to be interesting. Because I'm sitting there going, I don't know, this kid wants it real bad. The Suarez, I don't know if you've been watching him, but he's pretty incredible.
Yeah, I
He's
have.
a heck of a driver. Another, I believe, Kyle Busch find. Kyle Busch can make a great team owner one of these days because he keeps finding these kids. Eric Jones, Suarez. Anyway, side by side again with 3 to go at the restart. Crafton and Suarez. Crafton got it. Took it pretty much right off the bat. Great finish. 3rd win of the season for Matt Crafton. So there's no slowing him down at this point. And congratulations to Matt Crafton and the Menards Ideal Door Toyota team. Have you ever met? That was another question I had. You may have. I was curious. I don't think you have. Have you ever been to Menards?
Nope.
Do you know what Menards is?
Yeah.
It's a
Okay, like a lot of people, I'm not sure if they know it. 'Cause it's like a Midwest, right?
Yeah, it's more in the Midwest.
Because I went in one when I was visiting Billy in Ohio.
It's an equipment
Right.
company.
So-
Right?
No, actually, they're pretty huge. They're almost like a Home Depot and a Walmart combined.
It is,
thing.
yeah. They are very big. They're not small at all.
They have a lot of stuff. I mean, I don't. I'm trying to think. Was that where we also went? No, that was a different place. It was next door to it for the groceries. I don't think they actually carry groceries,
No.
but they carry pretty much everything. Like all the way from lumber tools straight through to cat litter, and they're like. Actually, you know what they're like? They're a lot like Tractor Supply, except much bigger.
Much bigger.
It was very similar. But I was curious if you even knew what they were.
At first, when I heard that Paul Menard was sponsored by Menards, I'm like, oh, it must be a family company. I'll be honest.
And it is.
It is a family
Wait,
company.
And he
Paul
is.
Menard is part of. Oh,
Yes, yeah.
Wow.
Menard's dad owns it.
oh.
He's the great grandson of the
That explains a lot.
great grandson of the I believe the great grandson of the originator,
Right.
who is no longer with us. I mean, the original Menards,
Oh.
which was basically a hardware store when it started.
Oh.
And then I guess Grandpa started making it really large, and Dad made it into a monstrosity.
Okay.
But yeah.
And now they spend all their
And I had
money.
another question as you're showing that. As a matter of fact,
88 truck
who
Earnhardt?
owns it?
I can find
Is that
it out.
Earnhardt?
No, I don't think so. But I did want to point something out real quick. In the corner shot here. Hold on, give me a second.
I rewound the DVR like 1,000 times to see if anybody would say
I can
the
find
owner's name.
I can
Because
find
the
it
crew
out.
chief is new and whatnot. If I'm over here, am I right on that?
I can find that out on NASCAR.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was the. What race was it that there was a new crew chief that won? It wasn't the truck race?
Was it? I think it was the Cup race. Menard, Truex's.
Oh yeah, that's right. Brand new crew chief, young guy. What I thought was awesome was, I'll get into that when we get to it.
Well, I wanted to just point out real quick. If you notice the way the track is, the marbles and the racing line,
Mm-hmm.
I think that is almost because the Goodyear and the Firestone tires are mixing there.
It's an interesting theory,
Yeah,
yeah.
it is.
Firestone
You mean
Indies.
the discoloration and whatnot?
Yeah. Because they're not the same. They're the same. They're tires, but they're different compounds.
Right.
So
Very
maybe,
different.
Yeah, there's probably no chemistry. Obviously, the chemistry's got to be somewhat similar, but there's a lot of differences in the chemistry.
Yeah, and that must have been interesting to race on. Because after a practice, you have these Goodyears racing on Firestone and tires. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. You mean Firestone rubber,
Yeah, Firestone rubber.
and then vice versa.
Yeah.
When the trucks run
Yeah,
around.
must have, yeah, got an interesting point there, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Anyways, I'll look it up on what team he is on. But now over to the Cup Series.
You mean the 88?
Yeah.
Because I am curious. I wanted to look it up, but I didn't. I wasn't able to find it, and I was going in the same way you are. Not his first rodeo. I like that.
What the heck is this?
So it gives the owner's name, but it doesn't give the team.
What am I on?
Hmm?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
He's
the
over there.
owners are over there.
Matt Crafton. Bonda.
That's just whose name it's in, and so that could be any given owner of the actual team.
Mm-hmm. Hold on.
And I never got them to say the name.
He's the driver of the 18. Interesting.
Well,
I never-
he did fill in, didn't he?
Yeah, I guess they never switched that over.
Go back to the top where you were. Top of that. What is? Oh, that is the entry list.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious. It's got. I think it has something to do with Earnhardt's team.
Hold on, I wonder if this says it. No, it doesn't. Just says the name.
There's nothing that says teams. Sarah did this already. I'm asking questions I already know there's no answer to.
No. Doesn't look like it.
Move back to standings then? No, it's manufacturers. Alright, we'll waste some time.
We can find that later.
We'll have that answer next week.
Hopefully.
Devin will have that answer for me next week.
Okay. Now to the Cup Series here. We'll finish out the show rather quickly here. We were working yesterday, so we were listening to the race. And, yeah.
But then I was able to go home and watch it.
And we have a pretty funny segment coming up. Hopefully we can work
Not
on
tonight.
it. No, not tonight.
Oh.
We'll work on it later on.
Something I came up with while I was working. Just listening to the guys on the radio. And I'm not picking on the guys on the radio when I do this, but you will see. It's going to be pretty funny. You have to practice it a few times. You want to tell them at least what I'm going to do?
No, we'll keep it a surprise. We'll keep it a surprise for now. Until it's done.
If anybody's a real big Simpsons fan, the Simpsons did it when soccer came to Springfield. Then you'll see you'll understand.
Alright, so now to the Cup Series here. Your notes. What do you got?
Well, first of all, I know he liked this. The flyby. Wow, was that thing big? And then when they went to commercial afterwards, and they showed, it was like the ultimate shot. In my personal opinion, would make a great poster. Was the was it C-17? All the way sideways, going past the flag. Did you see that?
Yeah.
That was an awesome shot, and they froze it on that before they went to commercial. They had it flying in slow motion.
Yeah.
Did you see the? Oh, you didn't see it. You were with me.
Yeah.
We heard it actually. We were on our way over.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Dog underneath, by the way, just so you know, folks. What?
Yeah, that's big tail. How did she turn him?
I don't know.
I don't know how she got down here either.
So like
She
your
did.
dad's hint that we got to wrap it up or something?
Anyway,
Anyway, Stenhouse is right there on lap 69.
heard that.
Yeah, they kept beating around the bush, and Stenhouse was also blaming others. But if you watch that replay, that was all him. He did it all by himself. It was basically, it might have been air, but that was all by myself, and he just went around.
I just think I saw a replay.
Last 40 laps had a couple of rough hits, especially for yep.
Earnhardt?
Nope, the big guy.
Newman.
Ryan Newman, yeah, Ryan. And from what I understand, I read this morning, Ryan Newman says that he owes him one.
Allmendinger.
Allmendinger, correct. I was about to say Amarola, but
He
I
owes him what?
He owes him one.
Like,
I don't know.
thank
He
you,
just-
or?
No, he just said that I owe him one. In other words, he wiped me out, I'm going to wipe him out.
Well, this should be fun.
We know how Ryan Newman is.
You know, we should really, like, have a...
Like every other one.
Next year, we should start a tally. Like, with magnets of the drivers' heads. We'll wait for that later.
Yeah. The rivalries. Well-deserved win from Martin Truex and the Furniture Row Chevrolet team. Which is another question I had. Is that the team, Furniture Row?
Yes.
So that is the name of the team.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they
Because that's what everybody kept saying. I'm going, all right, that's
Oh
the
yeah, that's
sponsor
the name
too.
of the team.
Well, it's kind of
Furniture
like Haas. It's the same way. Well, it's not that often that you actually see the owner's name as a sponsor.
No,
I think
no,
I have three right now. You have
Truex.
Truex, correct.
Bush.
And what was it, number 6?
No.
Number 6 is Roush.
Yeah, but he has Avocare on his Trevor Bayne.
So who was running the Roush, or is that for certain races?
That was... I think you're thinking of the Xfinity Series. The 6.
Okay, but then again, it's still the same thing. You still have a owner sponsor.
Yeah.
Cars.
I think the 95 in the Cup Series, I think, has... can't think of the team owner name, but that's the sponsor. Which it makes sense. You want to make sure the car looks appealing, rather than a white body with a number painted on the side.
Yeah.
But,
Well, what I found was the name Marty Visor as a team owner. But then again, like I said, that list just shows you who actually owns it. So Marty Visor could be the vice president of the chair or something for the actual team.
mm-hmm.
It's just that I think they have to, for tax reasons, have to have an individual name as an owner for the car. Like if you look at Hendrick's cars, they're not all owned by Rick Hendrick. Only one is. If you look at the Roush cars, they're not all owned by Roush. They're owned by, one of them is actually owned, Mark Martin's car back when he was in the 6, way back in the day. He was owned by, I believe it was Jack Roush's secretary was the name on his car. So I think it has something to do with taxes and the entries. The way they enter it via NASCAR, it has to be a different name for each car.
I don't know.
Wonder how-
Possible.
We could
Well,
get there.
on that list,
Owned
look
by
at it, you don't
Devin
see any
Poslusny.
repeats.
Yeah.
And look at all the teams. I mean, you can look at Hendrick, and you'll see Hendrick once. And I think right now, Hendrick is still listed for Jeff Gordon's car. Jeff Gordon was listed for Jimmy Johnson's car for many years. But then again, he was also part owner. He was partaking on it.
I apologize, by the way, for my dog. She
Don't worry about it.
she came in and had
She's a
some...
good dog.
Did she knock over the camera at all?
No, I held the camera.
Good. Beautiful.
I'm glad she
It all
left.
went smoothly.
She's been having gas lately, so I'm kind of glad she...
That, what do you call
Oh.
it? That, if I hadn't held the camera, the tail would have wiped it out.
Probably. But getting back to Truex, though, it is definitely a deserving win. It's been a long time coming right now. They were making it sound like it was his first win. It actually wasn't his first win.
No.
It's third win.
Yeah, it was his first win with this new crew chief. Appears to be a very young man. And one of the things I was really impressed by is everybody congratulating him.
Yeah.
Everybody.
I like
Rick
that,
Hendrick walked over,
Oh,
shook
yeah.
his hand. I mean, this guy, he was walking through the field heading towards the winner's circle. I mean, his outer lips were touching his ears. That's it. And everybody's coming to him. People he was probably amazed to even meet, let alone come over and congratulate him. You know, it was pretty wild. But yeah, that was Cole Pern, by the way. was his name. I had to go back and look for that too. The new crew chief. So that was his first win.
Oh, wow.
And he was happy.
I would imagine. So he's now in the chase. And there are 8 spots now.
Yep.
And this was race 14.
Yeah, you still got time.
So we'll see how that unfolds.
What cracks me up about it is that none of the guys that are already in are going to let the other guys. It's not like they're going to give it to them. You know what I mean? It's number one, for the most part, if you're good and you ain't in yet, they don't want you in. So you're really going to have to work for it. And everybody wants to win. That's where the money's at.
Exactly. So now we'll move on to anything else you want to say about
I'm all set.
Okay, now to the points championship. Here's the winners. I had Earnhardt. The Godfather had Gordon. He had Kurt Busch. Trooper had Joey Logano. Justin had Jimmy Johnson. Joe had Denny Hamlin. And Kristen had Kevin Harvick.
So Trooper got this one?
Let's look at the results. I got 0. Art got 0. Dave got 0.
Not a one person shot for Truex, and 2 of us thought of it. Or at least 2 of us we know of.
Mm-hmm. Trooper got 3rd place, equaling 6. Justin got 5th place and 2nd place, equaling 10. Joe got 4th place, equaling 4. Wait a minute. No, I was right. Kristen got 1st place, equaling 10. Let's look at the standings.
Wait, Chris got what?
1st place.
I don't understand.
Scroll up. She had Harvick, highest.
Oh, first place in our group. I got you.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure out how the other one works. Because we are still working on the new system in the background of all this.
Oh, yeah.
Excuse me. At least I think he is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm beating you, but I'm not beating you by that much. So you must
really?
Be.
I haven't changed the pick since Daytona.
Really? You can run out then.
Oh, shoot.
You're only allowed to pick them a certain amount of times.
Shoot, that's right.
You don't get an email that reminds you?
No, it's through Yahoo. I don't check the Yahoo. Gotta start doing that again. Hey! I'm glad you've been helping me out.
Yeah, bear in mind, he asked me to do this so that we both learn about it so the next year, Hey.
Luckily for you folks, we're going into the summer months. In about 2 weeks, I will be on vacation for about 2 months from school, so things should level out a little bit. So now to the standings.
And for us, he'll get more annoying.
For the standings here, I'm leading here with 6 points over Art. Justin jumped to 3rd place, now only 8 points behind me, 2 points behind Art. Trooper jumped to 4th place, now 9 points behind me, 3 points behind Art, and 1 point behind Justin. Dave didn't move, so he went actually down 2 spots. He's still 13 points
That's
out.
a move, by the way.
No, I'm saying...
Dave did move down.
Yeah. No, what I mean is you didn't move in the way of how many points you were gaining. Do you see Onyx? She's like, hey, you got any treats? What do I get him? Kristen's in 6th place, 19 points out, and Joe is in 7th, 20 points out.
Please ignore the heavy breathing. We're not being perverted. It's the dog.
Still pretty close running. Now to the final lap here, we'll round up the show. Supercross is off till October. Formula E runs June 27th and 28th. IndyCar Sunday 3 p.m. on NBCS, and they are in Toronto. Formula 1 is off till June 21st. Rallycross is off till June 20th through 21st. They're in Daytona. Treaty United Sports Car Championships off till the 28th. Truck Series races Saturday 8:30 p.m. They're at Gateway. The Xfinity Series races Saturday 1:30 p.m. They're at Michigan. The Cup Series runs Sunday 1 p.m. also at Michigan, all on Fox Sports 1.
So we have a full boat of NASCAR and
1 IndyCar.
And IndyCar. No E, nothing like that.
Nope.
Okay.
So.
Well, Thursday I go into my DVR and I settle this up, so it's just good to know in advance.
Yes, it is. So, yeah. That should do it.
And that's pretty much a wrap.
In a couple weeks, we are 5 weeks away from New Hampshire Motor Speedway's NASCAR July race. Can you believe that?
That's going to be so hot. I don't know why they moved it to the middle of July. Early July was tough enough. I liked it when it was in late June. It was at least not as Not as well. You have to understand. Us New Englanders, we're not used to the real hot. It's not something that is an everyday occurrence here, like Daytona or whatever. And quite frankly, July is our pretty much hottest month.
But then again, think about it.
And mid-July is probably the hottest it gets at all here.
Well, end of July, early August. That's when the peak is, and then it finally starts settling back down for September.
I'm glad we got rid of those frying pan seats years ago.
But not to mention, when, and no offense to people in Florida, but my dad and I laugh at, make the joke when they're at Daytona and they're like, it's a chilly 64 degrees, and we're stepping outside going, it's 20! And these people in there are like, ooh, and we're like, we be in shorts.
You know,
Woohoo!
we've been there where we had to put on clothes, put on
Yeah, and that
sweaters
was
and
like
whatnot.
30.
Sweatshirts. I don't think
It got
goes down
colder.
30.
It got cold. I remember that. Welcome back, Onyx. I don't know. But we're 5 weeks away from the NASCAR weekend here, which means that you felt that one, guys.
Yes.
Which means that we got a full weekend ahead of us, or a full weekend plan that we need to start planning. We will be there the week before, filming the show, recapping Kentucky. Then that weekend we have, not really interviews, we're just going to have recaps. We're going to film a couple races, film qualifying, film the All-Star race, and film the K&N race. We're also going to, Saturday night, we're going to have our live entertainment. Which
what's that in July?
You have Friday, you'll have the modified All-Star race.
Yeah.
Friday night, you'll have the K&N race. Saturday, you have the modified race, the Xfinity race.
So it's Xfinity. That was
Yeah.
anything I was looking for. All right.
And then
the
Sunday, you have
Cup on
the Cup.
No trucks coming here at all this year?
September.
Cool.
That's the plan, I believe. I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure they're back. They took a couple of years off, and us New
I'll
England.
take a long shot on who's going to win that. Kyle Busch.
Yeah. Which, by the way, folks, Kyle Busch is back next weekend as a double duty. I don't know how I feel about that one.
Why not?
Well, not like as a bad, like he shouldn't do that, but I
think he's been doing fantastic in the Cup Series alone
I know.
for returning away from what he had been through. So I would like to see him doing better, of course, because I want him to at least get that win. But there is another stipulation on that one too. You know that, right? He has to be top there, 30
yeah.
points within. Or what is it?
Top 30 in driver's points.
Yeah, top 30 in points. But then again,
And
with
he
his
has to win.
consistency, he's going to have it. All he has to do is get that win.
Yeah. But I don't know. Maybe if I was Kyle Busch, I wouldn't run as many Xfinity races. You know what I mean?
I think he's keeping it limited already. He's just coming back from the one right now.
Yeah, I know. No, I know, but usually...
Well, they may know more, but that's what we know.
Well, yeah. But, I don't know. We'll see what happens. So, next weekend, we have racing across the country for us. I don't think we're going to have anything going on. If we do, we will let you know. And, yeah, in 2 weeks, June 21st, come on, calendar, work. The June 20th and 21st, we will kick off Racing Hotspot Summer Series. That's the day, actually Friday afternoon, I'll be out of school. So we'll kick off the Summer Series with U.S. Legends Car Racing at New Hampshire Motor
Is
Speedway.
your last day of school?
The 19th. Yeah, I get out at 11. Anyways, that weekend we're going to cover some Loudon Classic stuff. Why not? Right? Get some motorcycle racing. And some U.S. Legends Car Racing. But we'll tell you all about that later on when we get closer. So, yeah, I believe that is it.
All right.
So, next weekend, IndyCar and NASCAR. That's your weekend. And, yeah, make sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Instagram. I know we've been not really doing much with the race results. And, yep, there you go.
Everybody see it.
Well, with the race results and stuff, but we're keeping you up to date on the Facebook page primarily. The Twitter and Instagram page are coming along. But yeah, until we see each other next week, have a good week, everybody, and yeah, see ya.
Take care.